Hey everyone, welcome to my second video on YouTube.
For the record, I'm done trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record,
Have you guys seen those macro shots where the depth of field is so sharp from back to front? It's just spectacular. It's so pleasing to look at and it almost feels unreal. Well, Don Komarechka, he's a macro photographer, has inspired me to make one of those unreal shots. So in this video, I'm gonna attempt to obviously make one of those shots. In my first attempt, I tried to remake one of Don's really famous macro shots. That is the reflection of a flower in a water droplet on top of, I think it's the piece of grass, but it didn't work out as I had hoped. Here I show you guys the behind the scene of my first attempt and the final results of what I got from my first attempt, and you guys can see that I came nowhere near what I had hoped or what I wanted. But I learned a few things from my first attempt and by making the mistakes. And the one thing that really didn't help my image was the using of plain yellow flower. Not even a flower, but the weed that grows in our backyard. I feel like I need a more interesting or more contrast, colorful subject in the background. The second mistake I realized was I was using aperture that was too big for such a photography. Kind of have to use really small aperture like f11 or more. Alright, so after that unsuccessful attempt at the macro photography, I have a couple of new ideas or different ideas that I want to try today, and hopefully I can get that sharp looking from front to back macro photography that we see online all the time. So the first thing that I'm thinking is just using one single piece of grass like I did last time, but instead of putting a flower in the back and too many water droplets on top of the grass. Sorry, the biker gang is out. Weather seems nice. So as I was saying, so instead of putting the yellow flower in the background and too many water droplets on top of the grass, I'm gonna use just the grass itself and maybe a few water droplets to start with. And for the background, I'm just gonna Google something and put the laptop screen in the back. I'll show you the setup once I have it ready. Everything stayed the same for the second attempt as well. Besides, I got rid of the water bowl in the back or underneath. I feel like I was biting too much for my first try, so I decided to simplify the setup for my second attempt and the third attempt. So the setup I was using, or the lens I was using, was the 100mm Canon macro lens, and for the camera I was using 5D Mark IV. So I believe I have the shots that I needed. What I basically did was try to focus twice per water droplet, meaning that I wanted outer edge of the water droplet in sharp, and then inside of the water droplet reflecting whatever I had in the background sharp. So I did 2 shots per water droplet, and now I'm gonna take them into the Photoshop and see what we can do with it. So to edit all the shots, I decided to use 2 different ways. First, I decided to use Don's way of focus stacking. He has a YouTube video explaining how he does it, and I basically followed his video. And it's a very lengthy process, but I didn't think it was necessary for such a simple composition. His compositions are very complicated, and maybe that's why he used Photoshop and it was necessary for him. And second, for the second composition, I just decided to use Lightroom's photo merge option, and the results were not bad at all. I was very happy with them, and F11 really helps if you simply just want to use Lightroom's photo merge HDR option. Here are the final results of both the composition. They aren't anything crazy, but they were very pleasing to my eyes, and I like how simple yet sharp they are. Like the colors. Maybe in future I'll use a different background, making the droplets more characteristic. But I was happy with my results. I'm gonna keep taking these macro shots and keep getting inspired by Don's work. Check out his Instagram. He has really cool macro shots. They almost feel like they're unrealistic, but in future I'm gonna keep learning from them. And I think the hardest part is setting up the compositions, so where to focus the light and how to get the reflection. Having that third hand tool really helps if you're trying to get such compositions. So yeah, that's a must if you try to attempt it yourself. I don't know if you saw, but the shutter speed I was using were very low, and to reduce the motion or reduce the shaking of the camera, I was using a remote control to take the shots, and it worked out pretty well. I also used extra weight underneath the tripod to make it as steady as possible. Well, this is it for now. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.